Hey Sea Dragons, welcome to Art. I'm Mr. Horner. For this week's project, we're going to learn about batik. I'll tell you a little bit about what it is, its history, and then we'll try it out in our own artwork. Batik is a fabric decorating technique. There's a long tradition in the country Indonesia. For over 1,000 years, people have been using this process where they will draw with wax, usually beeswax, onto fabric, making patterns like the flowers and lines that we see in these. Then they will dye the fabric, and when they wash away the wax after dyeing the fabric, it leaves behind these light spots or white dots and things that make this pattern where the dye was not able to soak through the wax. Batik has also been practiced in many other countries such as Senegal, Nigeria, Togo, Japan, China, India for hundreds of years. This tool is called a canting, and it's used to draw with wax onto the fabric. The hot wax goes into this little pot and it comes out of this little spout so that the artist can draw with it like a pen. After the pattern is drawn in wax, the fabric is dipped into dye, like we see this red dye here. That dye will soak into the fabric, and the wax will resist that dye, creating some light spots and the rest getting all dyed in. In Indonesia, these batik fabrics have many traditional uses, such as for new babies being born, for weddings, and for funerals and festivals. This fabric here is used at a wedding. It could be worn by the bride or groom or their family members, and it's worn to promote a bright future. This is kind of the meaning of this particular pattern, which is called grumple. And there's many different names and different patterns. They don't all use the same colors, but they use similar shapes. So you might see this grumple pattern with different colors, but similar kind of flower and circle shapes together. So maybe for your artwork, you might think of a wish for the future that you could show in your pattern that you create. These are the materials you need for your batik artwork. You need your cup of water and your brush, your watercolors, some crayons. Those are wax, just like the beeswax that batik artists normally use. These will resist the watercolor. And then you need paper. I'm actually going to rip this paper out of my sketchbook. Otherwise, I might have some soak through and get on a page where I don't want it. So I'll just take that paper out and put it on my splash mat. You can use any of these crayon colors, but I would suggest just using the lightest and brightest ones. I think even this green is a bit too dark. These ones are just going to look a lot better once we put the watercolor over it, because they're very bright, and when you have dark watercolor over it, the bright ones look really nice. These ones just don't have the same look as using those bright ones and using a dark watercolor over it. Like I said before, it would be great if you want to choose kind of a wish for the future for your artwork, just like that traditional Indonesian one that I showed before. I'm going to be thinking about the future in mine and how busy I am and how many things I have to do. I'm just going to make a lot of crazy things going on. Right now I'm making dots with the white crayon. I'll do a little bit of that and then I'll draw with the colors so you can see. But I think I'm going to have kind of some pieces representing parts of my life around here, and then parts that are flying at them. I won't be showing any like real things. It's just going to be shapes and lines and dots and colors. I'm going to keep going, just drawing with the crayons, trying to fill in most of the white space. I still have lots of white space in between here. I'm going to keep going with some more of those crayon colors till almost everything is filled in. Then I'll go over it with some dark watercolor, but not until the end. Otherwise, if you watercolor it too soon, then you won't have this nice look of the crayon coming through. So you want to do all of your crayon first before you paint it. I have this all filled in, mostly filled in, using crayon all over the whole paper. When you go and do your watercolors, since you used a light crayon, I suggest you use a dark watercolor. So probably not the yellow, orange, red. Use brown, purple, blue, green, and black. I think I'm just going to use black and brown because I want it to look like the traditional one that I showed you with the Grumple design. I know my design is different and has a different meaning, but I liked the colors they used. Here's my artwork. It kind of ended up being more about a feeling rather than a wish, and that feeling is busyness. I'd like you to tell me for your artwork, is it about a wish or a feeling, and what is it about? Another thing that I'd like you to tell me about your artwork is what's your favorite part of how it looks? One of my favorite parts about mine is that I ended up with lots of dark and light brown spots, and I think that makes it look more like the kind of traditional tie-dye batik look that I've seen before. So I think that helps it look more traditional for mine. So what's your favorite part of how it looks? Like which colors, which crayon and watercolor parts look best together to you? Okay, I hope you enjoy making kind of an abstract artwork with this. It doesn't have to look like anything. You can just enjoy making lines, shapes, and patterns, and hopefully it has some special meaning to you that you can tell me about. All right, have fun with your painting. I'll see you later.